Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. And thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So I came across this video that I thought that I share with us because it is really something very vital. I mean, parents should know what is going on around them and all of that. So this woman came out to talk about how her kid, I think they moved to a new neighborhood, suburban, and it was kind of predominantly white and other people, So it happened that a Hispanic child actually pulled out you hear from the video, right, on the child. And so when the child got home, reported to the mother, and the mother did not want to take it lightly, right, because it got to do with violence, right? So on getting to the house, they met the father, found out that he's a Hispanic, and called out the child. And the child was kind of trying to lie against the young boy, saying that the boy used the cis law on him, right? I don't even know what cis law is, and I don't care to know. So this little boy told the mother, I don't know what that means. And the woman was like, I don't even know what that means, right? So it was while they were having conversation that they saw a woman coming over, happened to be the man's wife. So it happened that the man also got married to an Asian woman, right? So while they were going back and forth, the woman did not take it lightly. Now, one thing I want us to know is that sometimes Black parents think that they think that their kids are safer around non-blacks over Black children. That is not true. Make sure that your kids mix around. Let's get into this video.
These non-black kids up here in this liberal state in the suburbs are demons. You know how you go to an all-black school like I did, and you have a couple of, whites and Asians or whatever, but they knew their place. And by that I mean they knew that all that racist shit that they learned at home, they couldn't take to black people because they would get their ass beat. Here, black people are the least of the population. When I first moved here, my son was like 11 years old. My middle child was like 9. And my youngest was like 3 years old, right? So I let my older 2 children go and play in the neighborhood park. That's where all the kids would go. It's the neighborhood park. I could see them from my house. It was all good. So one day my children came home and said that some of those kids started bullying them. So I told them, hold their ground. Well, one day this child pulls a knife out on my son. Now that was it for me. But I called the police, and the police came out and said that they can't do nothing about bullying, and they usually don't come out here with child stuff, but the only reason they came out is because there was a knife involved. They end up saying that they can't find who the child is. No worries. My son had told me what this child looked like, because now my children are going to the park. So I saw him while I was driving. So I followed his ass home. So when I hopped out, him and his friends on their bike saw me, and they said, oh shit, she found out where you live. I already believed my son, but that right there confirmed it. So I knock on the door, right? A Hispanic man comes out. That's his daddy. I tell him what's going on, and I'm passionate about it because his child pulled a knife out on my child. This man looks unbothered by it, which is really setting me off, and I'm shaking. He then proceeds to tell me that my son called that little boy the C slur for Asian people. I was confused because I was like, the C word? What is you talking about? Because I wasn't even thinking like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? He then says the word. I said, man, get out of my face. My son don't even know that word. You tripping. Your son lying. I called my son. I said, do you know what the slur is for Asian people? He said, what are you talking about? I said, okay. I said, your son pulled a knife out on my son. I don't give a fuck what he called him, honestly. But I'm not in his face. I'm not being aggressive. I've stood back. He then tells me, well, yeah, my son does have this kit with a knife on it. So how would my son know that your son has that if he didn't pull it out? He said, I'll deal with my son. Okay. So I'm walking down and I'm on the street. Then his wife comes out. It's the Asian woman. Because at first I was confused. Why would my son call your child an Asian slur if he Hispanic? But now I understand. She comes out and she has an attitude, right? So she comes to the sidewalk where I am and stands in front of me. her and her husband now. Again, I'm upset. Their son pulled a knife out on my son, so I am upset. And so I'm talking to her, telling her what's going on, and she tells me I need to lower my voice. I know it's so fucking lame when people say they black out, but see, I'm schizophrenic and I have dissociation. I did black out. Me, I went away. I came to when I was being dragged and picked up and put in the car. And I was cussing her the fuck out, right? I later found out that I was picked up and dragged to the car because I was reaching for her. So now I'm in the car. I done got put in the car and I can't get out because somebody was leaning on the car, refusing to let me out. Now she on the sidewalk, safe now, and now she want to start getting booked and her husband pulling her away. She gonna scream out, "You better not put your hands on my child." I said, "Bitch, I never said I'm gonna put my hands on your child. I said I'm gonna put my hands on you." Anyway, I had a hammer in the... Exactly. That's crazy because black parents think their kids are safer around non-blacks over black children. Now, before we get to this, I do see the comments, which I knew were coming, that said that I'm one of those black women who thought that my children would be safer around white kids and non-black kids because their daddy's white. I've never felt that way. But y'all do this every time I try to speak on black issues. What do you prefer me to do? You want me to do the after black spouse woman a challenge or whatever the fuck that is? You want me to do that coonish thing? Y'all want me to get on here and down and dog black men instead of defending them, which I have several times over the years with several videos? Would y'all rather when black women come into my inbox saying that they wanted to date a non-black person, would y'all prefer for me to tell them, no, yeah, do it, instead of vehemently telling them not to? Because a non-black person will never be able to understand your experience as a black person. And it's always for people who don't do anything for the black community. You're not in the streets. You're not even making videos on TikTok about these issues. See, another thing is my daughter, my middle child, who is dark brown and has 4C hair, they were experiencing so much racism at that school from non-black people that they were going to, that I went up to every level above until I got to the director of the school system in this county and had them removed and put into a school with 2 black principals. In addition, as a result of the bullying that they went through that was horrific, I am now on the board of people that are going to rewrite the school handbook. And I informed that director very clearly that my focus was going to be on black children who have the least representation. See, that's what I'm doing when I experience a problem with my children and racism. I don't sit on it and just talk about it. No, I do action. What do you do? Oh, okay. Anyway, I know that black children are not safer around non-black children because I'm from the hood, right? And so my mom knew that the education system around where we live was shitty because property tax is what determines how much money goes into the school system. So for good teachers, supplies that are needed, the schools will have, I went to school and it was like 40, 50 children with one teacher. You can't learn that way. So she put me in an all-white Christian private school for about 3 years, where I learned self-hate, where they were so horrible to me that I learned to hate myself, and I had to undo that, where I had to change who I was in that white school to fit in so that the bullying would stop, which it never did. And then when I got taken out of this school and put back in the school system I should have been in the whole time with my own people, I had to readjust. The reason black parents think this is because we have been taught that white people are better. That's why they think that. They've internalized that. Because what they're taught is black kids in the hood, we just like to make jokes in class. We don't want to learn. We don't want to do any of this. But white kids, they want to just listen to their work and they want to go home to their parents, eat dinner, and then just do their homework and make straight A's and shit. Well, it's not fucking true. I seriously believe that it is better for your children to be brought up around their own people, to keep their culture, to keep their accent, to keep their language, and then fill up the gaps of education at home if you're able to. Because look at these black kids who speak white, like y'all say, and go to predominantly white schools and all that shit when they go to college. They're miserable. I'm too black for the white kids and I'm too white for the black kids. And everyone wants to blame those black children for that. But the problem is that they were taught at home that they weren't supposed to act like us, but they still crave that interaction. And so when they come around us and they're like, oh, my people, they don't know their language. They don't know the rules of engagement, the body language. They don't understand the roasting. And it's not that black kids just love pushing, those type of other black kids away. It's not that. It's that, one, those black kids come off as a cocky. It's not the white talk. It's their behavior. Because those uppity black people were taught that the things that black people do in our culture is beneath them. And those black kids who do bully those other black kids that act like that are doing, unfortunately, what's natural. You push away what's foreign for your own protection. I put it this way. If you've been raised, as you should have, that non-black people are unsafe, and then you have someone come in who acts like the people you were taught were the enemy, they look like a wolf in sheep's clothing. In addition to that, the uppity black children that come in, who is really not their fault that they act like that, it's their parents, ostracize themselves. Okay, like if we were to say, damn, your hair nappy, girl. And this is not about texturism. I'm just saying, how we talk. It's completely different than, oh my God, girl, your hair is nappy today. See what I'm saying? See, me saying that, girl, your hair nappy is not an offensive thing when it's said that way. Because I could have a nappy moment tomorrow. But coming from an uppity, it hit different. And it doesn't help that I was also raised by poor uppity blacks. But that's a story for another day. But essentially, your kids are not safe with non-black kids. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, everything. The type of hate for their selves that can grow can lead to mental illnesses. I'm not going to get into my child's business who was heavily bullied, but I will say this. There was a lot of effects that almost feel irreversible at this point, and I'm really trying. A therapist, a whole bunch of stuff that I'm trying. Just don't do it if you can. Because again, the problem is, I live in the suburbs now. It is an entire blessing that the school that they now attend has 2 black principals, and they take racism very seriously. I wish I had known about it the whole time, but it's out of district, so you have to apply for it. Try to keep your kids around their own.
So this is all I got from this video. And sincerely speaking, she's not lying. A lot of people also may have experienced something like this. And in the comment section, it was clear that a lot of mothers knew this. And also, I think I have also brought something like this several times where parents talk about how their kids were bullied, especially black kids, or how other people when they live in suburb and all that mix up, and sometimes they are not so friendly when it comes to our black kids. Why? You all already know how it goes, right? And what if sometimes it's really crazy, like some certain things we experience as black people, not just only you experiencing that, then your kids grow up, they start experiencing the same thing. It's really very tiring. And I remember sometime a black child was probably on the park playing with a telephone, and before we could say Jack, it was cops all over, right? Because they were threatened because, can you imagine holding a telephone, a mobile phone, I mean to say, a mobile phone, and they are mistaking a mobile phone to pew pew. So black kids really grow up so fast. Why? Because they do not have that time to enjoy their childhood days or childhood, play around like every other kids, enjoy themselves. Why? I mean, right? Racism has really taught Black people not to, like, just to be fully woke, to be awake all the time, because so many things has happened. And one thing with life is that you do not let a history repeat itself. So you really have to protect your children, know where you are living. And sometimes, I mean, I think I would prefer my kids, to live among ourselves, like, when we live together, the same community, and it's easier than trying to navigate all this, because some people, they feel like, I have lived in a Black community all my life, I think it's okay. Or maybe because you moved or something like that. I am not saying that I mean, like, you must be in Black community, but make sure that your kids also have people that look like him closer in school, and, like, around. It helps them, it builds them, it molds them. Now, from the story she told, you all already know how, when it comes to someone that look like me, it is so easy for them to, like, look away some certain thing, or not being serious about some certain things. So you can imagine how the child already lied that the young man used the cis law. Sincerely speaking, I don't know what cis law is, and I do not care about it. So, and she did not know the man married an Asian woman. So it was when she saw the Asian woman coming out and asking. So when she got to the house, she saw a Hispanic man, right? So how did the child of how many years, probably 9, 11 years, how did the child, like, knew that your mother is Asian and your father is? So probably the child also did not. So it was them looking for a way to lie on that boy straight up before any other thing. But I am happy that the woman also, like, you sometimes, your, or not really sometimes, mothers know their kids more than any other person. Just like my sister has kids, and she tells me that I know what this one can do, I know what this one cannot do. Even, like, I was like, there are sometimes we'll be talking and all that, and the child will make some, like, movement, and she will ask question, and the question she will ask is exactly what the child want and all that. Now, like, how do you know? You say, I am their mother, so I know. It kind of marvels me, but I know I will absolutely get there. So I am sure that mothers also know and understand their kids more than any other person. Even the woman said, I don't even know what that means. And the child also does not know that there is Hispanic and Asian connection among them. So all they could do was just look for a way to lie on the man. So all I can say is that I mean, for those also, I mean, let me just, for those also that put their kids in predominantly white school, that in the end they come back complaining that their kids could not perform very well in school, or they were, like, lagging behind, or they are being bullied and all that. Sometimes I think the media really, like, I don't know, really made us also to not like ourselves, or not want to sometimes associate with ourselves, because they have told us that you don't mix up. Like, I really don't know who brought about that. I don't know. I don't know how they managed to, like, mess up with I don't know if it's I don't know, but yeah, sometimes some people are like, I was warned not to come closer to, are you okay? Or live among my people. Please make sure your kids mix around. I also see stories of mothers that probably relocated. So when they relocated, probably let's assume people that left from Nigeria, or maybe Ghana, or some other countries, and they relocated to probably like US and other countries, right? And probably put their school children in predominantly school. I see their some of their posts online or on blogs, where they are complaining that their kids are being bullied, right? And I see them talking about how their kids said that they want to go back, that they don't like here, they don't like their school. It is because they are being bullied, right? And they do not also give them more attention in class. I am a teacher, right? And I understand. I know some of them. I have worked with a different, I mean, like, teachers. When I say different, from different countries, UK, rush. I have worked with so many of them, right? So I know what some of them can display and what some of them cannot display. So this is actually the things they are facing. And I just don't know, but I think my kids are going to come first. I don't know what it's going to cost me to look for a school that can manage my child. I'll do the very best for my child, or a place where my child can actually mix up, you know? It helps them mentally, physically, every other thing. There is nothing like, now the truth is that if I go to a place and I am not seeing someone, like, I am probably like, all about to die of, like, you are quiet, you cannot probably communicate. Number one. The another one is that the problem of sometimes you are talking and they don't not even understanding you. You think you are with somebody, but when you are not, like, you are not together. So I don't even try to put myself or try to box myself, because I feel like sometimes associating with some of them is like boxing yourself up. So all I can say right now is that I make sure that your children are where they are going to mix up with people that look like this. See, this has got nothing to do with racism or trying to differentiate, or trying to discriminate. But it is ideal that people of the same type mix together in order to understand one another. There is nothing wrong with that. So see you all in my next video. And let me know what you all think in the comment section. Bye for now.